In this video I'm going to show you how to remove and install and adjust the fuel filler flap which sits at the front here. I thought, like, the problem I had was that the actual flap, the panel on the outside here, wasn't sitting perfectly flush on both sides. It's a little bit proud on one side and a little bit deep in the other. So it actually looked very un-Porsche-like, and I thought I'd pull it out to see if there was actually an adjustment, and as it turns out, there actually isn't. This just clips straight in place, and what you get is what you get. So I've actually been able to adjust it by using a Dremel tool. So the actual mechanism itself, it just gets pressed into place. You can see there are 4 little slots there on the stamping of the actual panel, and they clip into these 4 spots here, and basically this just gets fed in there and just clicked into place, and the actual panel, the metal bit on the outside, which is painted the color of your car, just gets slid on. It's actually extremely easily removed. So the first thing you want to do is remove this piece here. It's actually extremely simple. You can see there's just a little clip there. I'm just going to put a screwdriver under that, and I'm just going to pull that and wiggle it, and it just comes straight off. And you can see there's a bunch of little shapes here which will actually clip to on the other side. Putting it back on is just as simple. You just line things up and then just click it into place like that. Once we're like this, the next thing we want to do is remove the cap here. The actual knob here is actually molded as part of this, so you actually need to pull it off the actual knob itself. So it's actually, the little thing should be stuck in a little sort of spot in there. Just rotate that around so it's sitting down, and then what we're going to do is from the bottom just lift it up and out, just nice and gently, so you don't break. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that off. I'm going to pull this off, and then whilst I'm working on it, I'm just going to shove that back in there. Prior to trying to remove this, what you'll need to do is remove the wheel, remove the rear liner of the wheel well, and then what you'll find is that this tube here, which is just the overflow, so if you overfill the fuel, there's just a tube there that runs down. It's just going to be clipped against the there's just one of the air conditioning lines there. There's 2 clips that it just presses straight into, so you're just going to pull it out, and then it can easily come out with it when you remove the whole thing in a moment. So to remove the the locking release mechanism, you're going to grab hold of that and then just rotate it there like that, and then just pull it out, and it just sits there like that. To put it back into place is obviously the reverse. The electrical connection for the locking mechanism is there, as well as on the top. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's the cord that you can pull. If you open up the door on the right hand side up the front there, there's actually a little pull release if this thing fails, so you can actually get the filler cap open. You'll also need to remove the piece that sits along here. So pop the lid at the front, remove the one that covers the battery, etc. And then this one here, there's just a couple of press little stud things that go in those 3 spots there. So you just pull those out. There's going to be a couple of clips that look like that slit into here. So you'll pull those up, and then this thing here will actually just pull rearwards. There is a couple of things here that actually slide under spots here, so if you just pull those rearwards, that will actually come out. And the reason this needs to be removed is because to get access to the top clips of the filler flap mechanism, you need to go in through underneath here. And to release the clips at the top, shine a light through here. Grab hold of, make sure you've released the bottom clips first, and then just have hold of this. So that's what you're going to use to sort of just pull the thing out, and then you're just going to go in with a long screwdriver here, excuse my head, find those clips and push those out. So to get this out now, all the 4 clips are actually released. The bulk of the hinge is actually up here. But this actually has a rubber surround there, but the big one that's holding it at the moment is the surround that actually goes around the filler nozzle, because this is plastic here, but all of this is actually rubber, and they're all sort of made as the one unit. So grab hold of it and pull it a little bit real, and you can see create a little bit of a gap in there. Then we're just going to run our pry tool around that. Okay, so once that's actually free, then I'm going to do is close, don't fully close, you just need to do it like that. And then what I can do is I just rotate it all the way around, and that whole big thing comes out, and then you can just pull out that hose, that overfill hose with it. You can put the cap back on there whilst you work on this. Installation is the reverse. Just feed that down there. We'll put that in the right spot afterwards. Put that in pretty much at 90 degrees. Rotate that around like that. Put that out there like that. And now we need to go in and feed the rubber around the nozzle, and then you can just click it into place. Now, to explain how this thing works, the actual spring mechanism is just a little thing that just goes back and forth like that. The actual locking mechanism would actually fit in there. That's the one that we disconnected before. And you can see there's actually, looks like there's a plunger that actually goes in there when that's activated. Other than that, there's just a hinge with a spring, and you can see those 4 clips around it. If you want to remove the hose here or replace that just pushes in from the back. There's a, looks like it's just been melted and flanged on the inside there. So you pull that out if you need to. But the problem I had is that when this was closed, the panel wasn't actually sitting perfectly flat. It was actually too far in at this end and too far out at that end. So a couple of things that I've done to fix that problem. On the inside here, where that thing there presses against that, I've actually just got a Dremel tool and just sanded that off about 1 millimeter or so. So now that actually goes in the correct amount. The problem is if you actually want something to come out on the car where the panel is stamped, you could maybe bend it, but what I came up with these clips, I actually got a Dremel tool in here and just ground off about 1 millimeter or so of the actual clip, and then just filled in the gap on the other side against this bit here, just with some tough silicone. Well, it's actually the stuff they put windscreens on, but it's a rubber that dries relatively hard. So it actually fills in the gap, and that has fixed the problem. And after doing my adjustment, if I just get a plastic tool and put them against both panels, I can see that they're perfectly flush, both front and rear, which is exactly what I wanted.